Going to music festivals is never cheap. So today we ask, are the prices in Electric Picnic too expensive? Let us know what you think in the thoughts and in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, do subscribe for more content like
this year. So I know quite a few of the vendors that operate at the Electric Picnic, the food vendors that operate, or certainly who operated at the Electric Picnic in years gone by. A lot of them have been edged out and had their pitches reduced in terms of sizes. So I know guys who have, 20, 30 units and have only been allowed to put in 2 or 3 units in this year, all in the favour of British concessions. So you would have seen a lot of stuff there at the weekend if you're at the Electric Picnic that you wouldn't have been familiar with. And that's the reason for it, is they've come across from the UK and they go into the field. So a company called Central Fusion hand out to all the food vendors, they hand out credit card terminals and they collect all the revenue from the food vendors at the Electric Picnic. So they know exactly how much to make, they know exactly how much to take in, and if one of them dares bring in cash, there's a big deal and a big price to pay for that. You certainly won't be trading at the Electric Picnic if you do so. So it's a cashless event and they control the entire purse strings of every single vendor at the Electric Picnic. So, any vendor that's there will probably wait anything up to 2 or 3 weeks to see a penny from the Electric Picnic. But they've had all the outlays in terms of paying their staff, paying for their cost of goods and all the rest of it, and all their other costs have to be paid for up front. It just has to be. And then they have to wait weeks to get paid for the work that they put in. So last year, a few vendors were in really good pitches, really good sites at the Electric Picnic, but the company called Central Fusion, who take care of all of these pitches, they are data heavy and they know where the real good sites are and the real good areas of the Electric Picnic are for food vendors. And this year, they moved the Irish vendors to one side in place of the British UK vendors that came into Ireland. So they got all the best pitches to make it worth their while to come over here, But the thing about it is this, and the one thing that I am mostly concerned about and kind of annoyed about is, look, if you want to go and pay €10 for a bag of chips, that's fine. If you have it to spend it, no problem. The market will only, what am I trying to say? The market will only charge what people are willing to pay. So that's just capitalism at its best. But my concern is, when these vendors go back to the UK, what happens to the VAT? What happens to the corporation tax? What happens to the collection of the revenues of the food that is sold at the Electric Picnic? And that's one of my main concerns. But definitely it's a rip-off. There's no question about that in terms of the pricing. There's absolutely no question about it. But if you're being charged 22.5% of your revenue by a company that gives it to you 3 weeks later, you're going to have to charge people through the nose. You certainly have no choice. That's just the way it is. And it's the only choice for a vendor out there. But I have to say, my concern really is the revenue and the taxation that takes place. I don't know how that's accounted for. I'd love if anybody out there knows how that's accounted for, because hey, I love learning about this kind of stuff. So if you know, I don't want to hear bullshit, I want to hear facts. I'd like to know. But Laois County Council have a lot to answer for here, because they allow for this and they should be insisting that there's a certain amount of the food vendors at the Electric Picnic are Irish food vendors, should insist on it. I think it behoves them as a government entity to do so, but I wouldn't hold that much hope, because they are what they are in there.